Hello and welcome to the first ever BlitzTakeCS News Roundup, where I am going to walk you through the news of the last few days and provide you with some commentary on what I think is interesting about what's happened, my opinions on stuff, as well as just share some funny stories with you that you might have missed. And that is exactly what I am going to start with my favorite news from the last few days, excluding the Kerrigan roster move to Falcons, which I've already talked to, but I'll hint on that later on a little bit again. But this is my favorite. This happened at a LAN close to home in Germany, Leipzig. It's called, I don't know if it's supposed to be English pronunciation, cactus, or German cactus, where apparently they play LANs from multiple games, and they play tournaments, and then in the CS2 section, in the final, there were some content creators and CS players playing with their teams against each other. And one of those teams lost. And they maybe did not have the best reaction to it.
Die Legendenlobby!
For it? Well, now here it comes. Bam!
Nee, geh ruhig mal.
And I don't know if it's out of context. I don't know the story behind that, how the clip would have continued. But I love the moderator I'll translate, just calmly being like, no, maybe leave the stage. Like, you just assaulted someone mid-stage. It's like, maybe go away, just calmly. And overall, just when you compare it to the reactions from like football games or even worse or better, depending on what you're looking for, ice hockey, where everyone just gets in the huddle and they just beat the shit out of each other, or in football, well, one guy starts crying and the others start shoving each other. It's just so gamerism, just them standing there being confused, not knowing what to do, just being like, what the hell? But it's understandable. It's really out of nowhere. The guy doing this is apparently a streamer, so my first assumption is already it probably was for cloud, and it probably worked. He'll probably get pretty good numbers when he starts streaming again. I've never heard of him, but that's generally how these things tend to go. He did receive a 10-year ban from the organizer, which, I mean, it's not really that important in this particular sense, but when you transfer it over to like a bigger stage where maybe, I don't know, let's assume major final, and somehow Nico loses again. Pretty possible. And let's say he loses against someone that likes provocation a lot. Let's say he loses to Apex, and Nico walks up to Apex. He smacks the shit out of him. Obviously not good, right? Like, not good. But do you want Nico to receive a 10-year ban for it? I don't know. But in this case, just a funny story. Obviously stupid to hit anyone at a LAN, or, well, stupid to hit anyone for many reasons. Not always, but mostly. Okay, on to the next news, which might be, I mean, it's definitely the biggest, because the tournament has just concluded, which probably made Vitality into the greatest team of all time, winning their second Grand Slam Rob's his third Grand Slam. Another Zaiwu MVP, the usual. In a tournament that, for their incredibly high standards, actually made them look kind of vulnerable. Because in this final, yeah, in the end, Donk had great stats, but map 1, they probably win if Donk frags. Map 2, they're at least in it. Probably they could win it too if Donk plays there. So year 3, is this where Donk AI learns choking? Because the first 2 years there was no sign of that. This is probably the worst final I remember Donk playing. And this combined with the fact that Vitality already lost to a dead Falcons in the group stage. I mean, just looking at anything right now to convince me that Vitality won't just win every tournament from here on out. In the end, they did win the final 3-0 again, and they always win, and they barely even lose maps. But maybe the new roster moves for the other teams change something. But at the next tournament, we are not going to find out, because neither Mouse nor Falcons are attending. They get to face the new FaZe super team with Nachu and Twist calling, at least according to rumors. Nachu, in general, I like, but if it means that Twist is going to remain the caller for this team, that did not really work out well in Liquid. Then NKJ got announced as the coach. I thought his teams looked good when he was in Sprout and in Big, but ever since then, and Tropic, I gotta be real, I don't really remember what exactly happened there. ENCE was not great. ENCE was not a great run. So, yeah, I don't know. At least he's the coach that retired Glaive. Got that going for him, I guess. But yeah, generally, I do have to say I do prefer that coaches get jobs that actually have done something in the scene coaching, as opposed to just being a legendary player retiring and being like, okay, here is the second best team in the world, or something like that. Not that FaZe might be the low ranking team right now that a beginning coach could start on. In general, it will be interesting to see how Foot lines up against the big boys here, the first 3 especially. I mean, Furia maybe not so much, but Navi and Vitality now with a win in their back from their last tournament win. I'm also a big fan of their playstyle, so we'll see what will happen. The tournament after that is Astana, where at least we'll see Falcons, but I think also Mouse, yeah. So that's gonna be the more interesting one, because you get to see those new lineups try out. Then in other news, Oscar has retired, which at this point shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone, but I just wanted to take the chance to talk about this guy's career, because he was a really, really underrated ARPer. In recent times, people have been hating a lot on Brokey, and I will take this opportunity to do the same. Oscar was 10 times better than Brokey ever was. And for some reason, this guy's career just completely died after this mouse run, where in 2018 he had one of his better years of all time. He wins a big championship. He is the best player from this mouse team, of which obviously Rob's developed afterwards. Sunny was mega hyped and goes to ENCE and kills it, which was unlucky, but it is what happened. And the other 2 were obviously the IGL, even though Stico then afterwards, not Stico, Chris J then afterwards became the support player of the next team. But Oscar was the carry in that team. And then that team disbands, and he went to Hellraisers, but a Hellraisers team that was already spiraling down. Then he returned to his local scene, and it just never picked up again. And I really don't know how he never got the chance. It's a little bit similar as to Dexter's career, or at least what it seems like Dexter's career is going to be. But Oscar carried more titles and more big tournaments because he actually was in a top team for quite a while, as opposed to Dexter, who only really showed the potential to be there and then got that one tournament MVP as he was already out the door. Speaking about the team where he was already out the door, Falcons, who today announced signing Kerrigan with a cool video on Twitter that regarding the ambulance meme and whatever. Everyone knew this was happening at this point. With Falcons, usually the rumors are kind of on point when you hear they're trying to sign this person or that person. It usually happens. It comes out early. Makes for some weird tournament runs. It happened with Dexter. It happened with Magisk. It happened with Kicksan now. It happened with Nico, where everyone just knew for ages he was gonna join. It even happened back with the N score, where everyone knew every player that was potentially joining. I mean, you never know. Maybe there was like a bunch of stuff that no one heard of, but there's a lot of leakage. Not gonna lie. I like the move. We'll see how it goes. A very different approach to communicating roster moves over on Mouse. I am going to make a video about this roster move in general because it is a little bit confusing. It involves loans, players moving out, players moving back in, which really hints at the roster kind of imploding and maybe them not having any option to play Jimmy for some reasons. And also role conflict, role shifts. There's a lot of options for how they can line this roster up in terms of positioning. The one thing that I will say that I really like is Cyclone directly saying, this is my decision. This is also what I immediately reacted to over on X. If you want to follow, it's also BlitzTakeCS over on X. Because this is, I would love if Zonic did this. And I think it's what Zonic did in Astralis back when he removed Kerrigan the first time. But I'm not sure the first time, because obviously we all know, don't we? We all know. But when he removed Kerrigan the first time, he also said, my move. I want to do this or that. And that is also what I like here. It's great for accountability. It's great for story building also. Knowing what your coach actually does. Knowing what responsibilities which people have in an org. It really, really helps in evaluating your performance as well. How are we supposed to rate you when every bad decision is an organization's decision and every good decision is yours? Then at some point, yeah, not really likely to be the case, is it? So that's a positive that I see on this move. Not many positives regarding this one, especially the timing where he announced it. Took the wind right out of my sails. Announced his retirement immediately as my first video came out. It would have done double the views. I would have gone viral already if people weren't watching the Portuguese retirement speech of Fallen with like a sentence of English at the end. Obviously joking. I guess he picked a good timing to announce it because he wanted that impact for the tournament in Brazil, as well as Furia kind of seemed to lose a little wind in their sails. And with that announcement, he likely tried to get some motivation back. Now they know they can prepare. Once again, great for story building. Now we can think about it for months. Which way do they go? Do they pick an in-game leader from their lineup? Do they pick one from externally? How will that shift the roles? How will they perform in the last months? Will maybe people leave Furia? A lot of stories, because now he's able to prepare what he wants to do with his career, and Furia and the other players are able to prepare what they want to do with their career. That is cool. Overall, did he need to retire, or does he need to retire at the end of the year? No, probably not. He still had pretty good form individually for a rifling IGL, surprisingly. Not many people thought, including me, that he would get any numbers as a rifling IGL. But in the end, and also strategically, last year they looked really good. It's easy to look good when you have so many it factors bursting onto the scene. But if you're an IGL and you hire an an ARPA like Molodor, you discover him and he gets better and better and better, and you reactivate a player like Yikinda, take in his secondary calls, like, you gotta get some praise. And it looked really, really good when it worked. Then this year, with the drop-off of Yuri individually and the drop-off of Molodor a little bit, especially in bigger games, the entire thing falls apart a little bit. It does not seem unfixable, but with him announcing his retirement, it at least seems he does not have the motivation to do it anymore. And that is the crucial point. The main job for an IGL is laying out the game plan, motivating people, being the driving force behind the team. And if you yourself say, I can no longer be that driving force, then it's best to hang it up. And if that's what he wants to do, then all the best with his decision. That is also what I'm going to do here. Not hang it up in general, but hang it up for today. I wish you a nice day and all the best. Bye bye.